4 games, no promise beyond that. So if you're on those other platforms and you see these 4 games coming, please don't take it as some signal that everything's coming. It's not.
So this is the main thing people are talking about. He didn't like completely rule it out. I don't think we should, as an industry, should ever rule out a game going to another platform. But people are taking this and acting like he's saying, "Oh, yeah, they will." Like in a year from now, it's gonna happen.
This is literally just a classic. Like, I mean, it's hard to say what happens in the future. He's literally just saying we don't know what's going to happen in the future. It's impossible to completely predict.
People are. This is literally. They're repeating the rumor thing all over again. People took the rumor and said, oh, Xbox is going full third party. Like, all the games are going to PlayStation or whatever. They're going to stop making consoles. And they're doing the same thing here, where they're taking this one quote where he says, oh, well, you know, exclusives are going to be less prevalent in the future probably. And they're taking that and they're immediately jumping to, oh, Starfield is coming to PS5 in like a year or two.
They're taking it as complete and absolute, like, confirmation of something that he never even said.
God, did we not just look? We literally just watched this where they confirmed that most of the stuff that was said was just rumors that didn't actually mean anything. And now we're jumping on this one quote and doing it again.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, he even said in the rest of it, hold on if you want to scroll back up for just a second. He even says in the rest of it there in that second, I don't want to create a false expectation on those other platforms that this is like the dam's going to open and everything else is coming. That's not the plan today. So, like, he's even saying that probably not. But people are saying probably yes.
This whole update was a massive nothing burger? Yeah, because it confirmed what any rational person already knew.
It was about rumors that didn't have any substance to them. So, of course, it was a nothing burger.
Like, the only part of the rumor that had any substance was that, yeah, there are games that are made by Xbox that are going to other platforms. But the original rumor was Starfield and Indiana Jones, and that's not even what's happening.
Exactly, man. I completely agree with Classic King and his buddy here. Basically, what they're saying is that they're trying to start a rumor mill over and over again. And this is where the console warriors are nitpicking and they're cherry picking certain statements made by Phil Spencer during this podcast, as well as his interview with The Verge, right? And they're cherry picking these statements in order to fit their narrative to console war on. Which is just crazy, and that's why I say do not console war for a corporation. Do not fanboy out for a corporation, man. It's just insane. Now they're all talking about, yeah, but you got to read between the lines when it comes to the corporate talk, and that the Xbox fans are just falling for the corporate talk. No. If that is the case, then you should apply it to yourself as well, because what you're doing is just cherry picking certain statements in order to console war. That is all you're doing. Because if you read it within the context of everything he said, that no game is off the table, but it's dependent on internal circumstances and conditions that need to be met. We do not know what those conditions are. We can only make predictions. We can only, give our opinions on it, but we don't really know what it is. But it did literally say that it's only 4 games. Starfield and Indiana Jones is not part of the 4 games. And yes, it's not off the table. In the future, they could look at the possibility of bringing it, but they don't want to create the false expectation for players on other platforms that the games will certainly come there. Yet you have console warriors are completely, they're spreading it like wildfire again. That Phil Spencer said that it will come to rival platforms within a year or 2 or something like that. Come on now you're just cherry picking the corporate talk to fit your own narrative. But anyway, guys, welcome back to another video, and we finally got confirmation and feedback from Xbox given these wildfire rumors that have been going on since last week, man. We now have confirmation, but yeah, man. Now, me personally, I'm more concerned about the exclusivity that is tied to the brand, because like I said in the previous video, we know that Xbox's plan is to put the Xbox Game Pass service on basically everything, that every screen is basically an Xbox. We know that. But like I said before, if you remove the exclusivity factor from the Game Pass brand, from the Xbox brand, right? If you remove it, what is the incentive then for someone to join the Xbox ecosystem? Because then people can just buy it on their rival platforms. You know what I'm saying? Now, your counter argument to that could be that people would join the Xbox Game Pass service simply to play the game basically for free for a subscription fee day one when it releases. But my counter argument to that is people like buying games. They like that sense of ownership. And yes, even though we are moving more to a digital age where you technically just purchase a license to access the game, people still like that sense of ownership, whether it's digital or physical. And on top of that, we've seen that Xbox Game Pass does not affect the game's sales numbers, as we've seen with games like Powerball, Starfield, and all that, even though they're on Game Pass. But with that being said, guys, let's get into what exactly was talked about. Let me give my interpretation and my opinion on how I see things.
I know it's on the minds of a lot of people. We hear from the community, and that's an important input for us. So we made the decision that we're going to take 4 games to the other consoles, just 4 games, not a change to our kind of fundamental exclusive strategy. We're making these decisions for some specific reasons. We make every decision really with the long-term health of Xbox in mind. And long-term health of Xbox means a growing platform, our games performing, building the best platform for creators, reaching as many players as we can. We're always looking to learn as a leadership team and to grow. And we think this is an interesting point in time for us to use what some of the other platforms have right now to help grow our franchises. So we're going to do that.
So these 4
So you see, when he says things like to reach more players, things like they're still keeping to their strategy of exclusivity and things like that, and that they're just porting over 4 games. Right now, we know it's a rumor that it's 2 small games, like AA games, not really the top AAA exclusives, and it's 2 multiplayer games, right? So it's rumored that the 2 small games is Hi-Fi Rush and Pentiment, and the 2 multiplayer games is either Grounded and, yeah, we know Sea of Thieves. Now, I agree with multiplayer games, and I think that every publisher should do this. Tying a multiplayer game to exclusivity is to the detriment of your own game. Look at games like Destiny 2. It's massive. It's a major success, you know, because why? It's cross-platform. Now, that wasn't always the case, but even after Sony bought it, Sony did not make it exclusive to the Sony platform as well, because they would be stupid to do that. They would lose a lot of money. They lose a lot of players that are playing across Xbox, PC, and PlayStation. So multiplayer games is always a good thing to go multi-platform so that more players can be on the game, so that the services and the online factor of the game, it extends the longevity of the game. So in that instance, it's great. To me, in my mind, there's 2 aspects as to why they're doing this, but let's first hear what else he has to say.
Can we say if either of those titles are Starfield or Indiana Jones?
They are not Starfield or Indiana Jones.
Well,
Again.
what was the criteria and how the team was thinking about selecting those 4 titles?
Let me start a little bit outside of that, and then I'll get to the 4 specific games that we're talking about right now. Because the fundamental decision driver for any decision that we make, anything we're going to talk about today, is the long-term health of Xbox. That we're running a growing platform that has
Very important.
more players, that our games are having as much success as possible. And I do have a fundamental belief that over the next 5 or 10 years, exclusive games that are exclusive to one piece of hardware, are going to be a smaller and smaller part of the game industry. And that's not some great insight, because if you look at the last 10 years and what the biggest games are today, it's a natural place. Whether it's one console and PC, multiple consoles, mobile console and PC, you see big games landing on multiple platforms. And we want to be a great platform for creators that are trying to realize that potential. But now back.
So you see, basically, the conversation of Xbox going third party is not, it's not something, like, it's not out of the conversation. It's still on the table. Most importantly, when he said like 5 to 10 years, now we know. Now, this is my interpretation of this whole thing. He talks about that every decision made is thinking about the longevity of Xbox as a whole. We know Microsoft has deep pockets. Now, this is where my two interpretations of these 4 games come in, and how they are approaching this. First of all, they're putting these games over smaller games and multiplayer games. Why? First of all, to make revenue, to make money. And he said it himself, that if these games can make more money for them, that will then lead into the production of more AAA exclusive titles, more IPs, more expansions. It can lead to the overall quality of these games and basically just creating more games. If these 4 games like Hi-Fi Rush and they go over, they sell well, right? This could be the strategy going forward, that they will release the AA titles and the multiplayer titles on all platforms to make more money. My next theory is why they put these 4 games over on the rival platforms is sort of to give other players a taste of what Xbox is offering. Someone has a PlayStation, they don't own an Xbox, or they own a Nintendo, they don't own an Xbox. They've always wondered what Xbox has to offer, so now they put Hi-Fi Rush, highly rated, sits well with the fans. The game was well received. It even won an award at the Game Awards, right? People now buy it on the PlayStation or the Nintendo. They play it, they love the game. They're like, okay, you know what? This is a taste of what Xbox can offer you. Guess what? Now they might go and sign up on Game Pass. And as we know, every screen can basically be a platform for Xbox Game Pass. So now they go that through. So guess what? Xbox now gets a new subscriber to the service. That person might go and get a Series S or a Series X or whatever. So for me, the second one is sort of they're giving a taste of what Xbox has to offer to people who are still on the fence about Game Pass, on the fence about Xbox, on the fence about the service and what they have to offer. So in those 2 instances, I think they're trying to lean towards that. But those are just my interpretations. Let me know if you agree or not.
Back to the specifics of the question on these four specific titles. We looked at games that are over a year old, so they've been on Xbox and PC for a while. A couple of the games are community-driven games, new games, that kind of first iterations of a franchise.
Yes, and then just going back to the 5-10 year thing that he's talking about. Phil Spencer said basically sometime last year, that Xbox is in 3rd place and there's no way that they can beat PlayStation and Nintendo, and that they're not directly competing with them when it comes to hardware and things like that. I tend to disagree with this. I think that Xbox is indirectly competing, but they're painting the picture that they're not. Because what has happened in the past several years, Xbox is building their library of games. That is what they've been doing. They're building their library of games. They've acquired all these studios. They now have the backing of so much studios there. And guess what? They are indirectly competing with what PlayStation and Nintendo has to offer, whether you like it or not. Now, like I said in the previous video, what I think Xbox should do is they should give these studios and games time, and they should exercise a better quality control, because that is what they're currently experiencing. They don't have an IP problem anymore. They have a quality control problem. So give it time. In the next 5 to 10 years, they want to look at how these big AAA titles are received by the players, or received by reviewers, by the critics, how well it is received and how well it is doing. And if it is doing well and there's a major shift within hardware sales, within Game Pass subscriptions, mostly Game Pass subscription, because that is what they're going for, but also hardware. They are not, like it's also been confirmed if you watch the podcast, they're not getting out of the hardware scene yet. They've announced that come the holiday season, they have a new technical leap that they are making in the consoles. So someone that's admitted defeat would not be creating another console as well. So I think indirectly they're trying to see how the games, the big AAA titles that are in development, how it's going to be received, and based on that they might not even go third party if the games are doing really well. But however, this is a corporation. If the profits are there to be made, they could place it anywhere. You know what I'm saying? But either way, man, that is just my 2 cents on the matter and what I think they sort of indirectly doing. But only time will tell, man. Only time will tell.
That have reached their full potential, let's say on Xbox and PC. There's always growth. Franchises that we obviously want to continue to invest in. Part of having the ability to continue to invest is that the businesses behind those franchises continue. We think it's important that these service-based games that have communities behind them.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Multiplayer games,
that they're going to exist in the future.
Longevity will increase.
Kind of community-driven games that will end up on other platforms and give us the ability to continue to invest in them. We think that's great for the business and great for the communities, more players to play with. I'd say 2 of the other games are smaller games that were never really meant to be built as kind of platform exclusives and all the fanfare that goes around that. But games that our teams really wanted to go build, that we
like passion projects, basically, Hi-Fi Rush
across our studios, regardless of size. And as they've
That's what you can't deny, that when it comes to indie developers, they are running to Xbox because Xbox is providing them that platform to create their passion projects, their indie games, and that Xbox ID that has taken off like crazy. You know, it's a platform for indie developers to push out their games, push your creativity, be original, things like that. And in that way, we're getting new IPs. And look at Hi-Fi Rush. It was basically a shadow drop. No one knew about the game, and it was a hit. So if Xbox can push more things like that, their library is only going to grow, and people will associate the Xbox brand with good quality games. And in return, that will then create profits, bring in more subscribers, and possibly console sales, hardware sales. Who knows?
Realize their full potential on Xbox and PC. We see an opportunity to utilize the other platforms as a place to just drive more business value out of those.
Yeah, you see, why not use the other platforms to make more money? You know what I'm saying? Because if Hi-Fi Rush launches, say for example, it launches on PlayStation, highly likely it's going to launch on PlayStation, and it launches at $70, and say the game sells 1 million copies, that's money in Microsoft's pocket. They also acquired Activision Blizzard, and like I said, it would be stupid of them to make Call of Duty and then exclusive, because they would lose out money, because most of the plays for Call of Duty is on PlayStation. So for every copy of Call of Duty they sell going forward as money in their pocket, that money can then go back into development of more games. So it's a win-win situation for Xbox either way. Either way, it's a win-win situation. But anyway, man, basically, we've got the answers. We know, it's been confirmed as well, that the day one Game Pass launches are not going away. Games will still launch on Xbox Game Pass. We know that Game Pass is not coming to PlayStation, Nintendo. They would just, in my opinion, they would just be stupid of them to put that service on the rival platform. Again, you would just be diluting the Xbox brand. But anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it at that. Let me know your thoughts down below. Do you agree with what they said? Are you feeling optimistic again about the Xbox's future and Xbox's lineup? But yeah, man, I gotta love and leave yous. Leave a like on this video, guys. I do appreciate the support. Leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts. And hit that subscribe button for more gaming discussion videos, for more reaction videos, and for more Starfield content, man. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. I'll catch you in the next video. Rampage out. Peace.